Welcome back, guys, to the Alton Podcast, the 22nd episode.
Mm.
Hope everyone had a nice holiday
Oh yeah.
this week. And so, Colton, we're just gonna jump right into this. What's your stance on marijuana legalization?
Wow. 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 We're
Jumping
hopping
right
right
in.
in this week. Hopping right in out of the Thanksgiving weekend. Man.
No playing around, man.
No
It's
playing
turkey to eat.
around. Wow. Okay. All right. What do I think about the legalization of marijuana? Right off the top of my head, I am 100% for the legalization of medical marijuana.
Okay.
I'm still a little iffy on my decision for recreational.
Okay.
But I do support recreational. For example, if there's like an issue with getting medical marijuana, so maybe it could be more accessible to people if it's recreational. Um, but I guess that's my current stance on it. What about you?
Okay. I mean, I see both sides. I do think it's nice to have medical marijuana
Mm-hmm.
legalized, and recreational. That's fine by me too.
Mm-hmm.
Alcohol's legal
Yeah.
in most areas. There are some dry counties, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but in most areas it's legal, and people have died from it, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Drunk driving's a massive issue that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Public intoxication,
Oh, yeah.
alcohol-based crimes. I mean, those happen all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But alcohol's still legal.
This is very true.
Smoking causes massive damage to your lungs, can
Oh,
cause
yeah.
cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Usually disrupts quality of life by the time you're 60, 70,
Mm-hmm.
and that's legal.
Right.
So let's give marijuana a shot, too. What the hell? It can't do more harm than the other two.
Fair enough.
Well, I shouldn't say can't.
True.
Most likely.
Yes.
It'll be very interesting to see new research that comes from full legalization.
Mm-hmm.
There's been more limited studies because of how few states are allowed to use it.
Right.
So with full legalization, well, I should say that lightly because this bill's not exactly saying full legalization.
Right.
So what's the bill saying, Colton? Let's go
Yeah,
with that.
so the bill is, it's a federal bill, and it's pretty much allowing states to make up their own laws for weed in their own states. So, in other words, the country, the U.S. government, is passing it as a whole, or trying to pass it as a whole, I should say, but they're then allowing states to have their own, I guess, restrictions or their own laws on the bill or the law itself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, this, of course, anything federal
Mm-hmm.
comes with federal taxes.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
Always.
They want to make a cash crop out of this, and they're
Mhm.
going to. 5% tax on all marijuana products will
Mhm.
also be established with trust fund for programs designed to help people disproportionately impacted by the war on drugs.
Yeah.
This does include job training, treatment for substance abuse.
Isn't
And
5% kind of low, though? Isn't the average 10% right now?
So I think 5% is low.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's something else that's going to happen. Maybe an extra hidden tax, markup cost, something that's going to make that 5% worth it. And also, think about it. When you drink alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
it depends on your tolerance.
Sure.
If you don't have a high tolerance, you're not going to be drinking lots of booze. Unless you really just have a bad night and want to go.
Just gotta
go
let it go,
blackout.
you know?
Yeah. So you're limited on how much you can buy on that.
Yeah.
Smoking, I mean, I guess you can buy all you want. Most
Mhm.
people, 2 to 3 packs a day is about the worst I've heard.
Yeah.
So with marijuana, I don't know. Do people have that? I never smoked it in my life.
Yeah. Same.
So I can't say I have these kind of opinions on it.
Yeah. It's it's one of those touchy subjects to where you feel like you should know a lot about it, but you just don't because you just haven't experienced it. But, as I'm saying that, it's like, but I can vote for the president that I want to every 4 years, but I am not involved in, like, what, 90 to 100% of the stuff that a president would be involved in the, firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm I can really just go based off of personal experiences from similar products, such as, cigarettes, vaping, alcohol, what have you, chew. Um, so, I'm just going based on that. But
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the main benefits to marijuana is obviously, so I've heard at least, I could be wrong, but so I've heard, it's I don't want to say completely natural product, but it's way more natural than cigarettes.
I would say way more natural, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a plant-based, as long as no chemicals within the growing of the plant,
Right.
which, of course, that's anything we
Right.
ingest.
Right.
And, it's, again, just like you, I'm an outside source. I know I shouldn't say a lot, some outside sources
Yeah.
are very much against it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be okay. I don't foresee many issues with this,
Mm-hmm.
minus maybe like how companies are going to base it. You know what I mean?
What do you
Like-
like? Market it?
No, not market it, like employment.
Okay. Oh,
if
you
you
mean like
go
drug
to your-
tests?
Well, yeah, drug tests, and of course you can't go to your workplace under the influence of marijuana.
Right.
I would assume, but
would
you
imagine.
can go there smoking if
Right.
you X amount of people from the facilities.
Uh-huh.
I guess smoking doesn't affect your mental state, but some people claim marijuana doesn't affect their mental state.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to be a fine line to cross as to how that's going to be done on the corporate level as far as employment goes.
Right. I mean, it's definitely going to have an individual basis, I guess. I mean, it's just like you said with alcohol earlier. Like, some people are going to have lower or higher tolerances. So, I mean, the simple answer is people just have to be smart with it and not be stupid. If it does get,
That's a lot of faith.
like, I mean, it's no different than alcohol. If you know your limits, you know your limits. If you don't, then be careful and figure it out of office.
Just find out at home. That's the safest way. That's what I did.
Yeah.
Find out when you're at your own house with your own friends. Safest
Exactly.
bet you got.
Right.
And to bring up a better point, I think what I should have led with instead of the corporate thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't drink and drive.
Of course not.
Can you smoke marijuana and drive?
No, but you can smoke cigarettes and drive.
But again, cigarettes don't affect mental state.
Right.
Marijuana does.
Right.
So
Right.
is that going to be something that extra that cops have to look out for on the road? Are they under the influence of marijuana, or I mean, is that even a thing? Truly speaking.
I mean, it's already illegal.
I mean, yeah, but
Yeah. Like, if a cop flat out thinks you're high, I'm sure there's tests, just like there are tests for driving under the influence of alcohol.
yeah,
Like-
but those are a lot more easy. A lot more easy.
I mean, sure.
A lot more. That was just horrible English. I'm sorry, guys. And so also with this bill, getting back to the bill, back on track,
Mm-hmm.
they want to expunge, wipe
That's a
the
word?
slate. Yeah, that's a word. I gotta bring up my
Expunge.
English game. I screwed it up.
Right?
So they want to expunge low-level marijuana crimes.
Mm-hmm.
If the state's okay with that,
Yeah.
of course.
Mm-hmm.
It's all based on the state. If the state of Indiana says no marijuana, absolutely not. No medical, no recreational, it's not going to happen. Sorry,
Right.
guys.
Mm-hmm.
Florida already has medical marijuana.
Right.
They might go recreational. They might stay medical. I don't know.
I don't know. Be sure to
but
let us
maybe
know.
I will be sure to let you know. But what do you think low level means? That's specific. But
Yeah.
it's very broad.
Yeah.
Specific.
I mean, obviously there's going to be no answer until this bill gets passed.
It's pretty close.
Oh yeah, it's very close. But I guess my definition of low level would probably just be possession, maybe under a certain amount of weight, And, we were spitballing this before we started recording this podcast. You were thinking that, distribution or growing of it would not be considered low level. So I think probably the fine line is just going to be possession with a certain weight. That just makes the most sense to me.
It does. I mean, I wonder if the bill is going to even allow a little more freedom to the state.
Yeah.
And say, okay, you guys can kind of determine what low level for you is.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that's going to be a state by state classification.
Mm-hmm. And like I was saying, the House has already passed a bill. They approved it.
Yeah.
And I have the numbers here. It was a 24-10 vote.
Interesting.
Which was good.
Yeah.
And then all
2-3.
it has left to do, is pass the Senate and then pass President Trump.
Right.
And I don't see Trump vetoing this bill.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I don't see that benefiting him.
Yeah.
Or
honestly?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it might get him reelected.
Yeah, I thought you were going there.
That with the tax return, I think might get him reelected.
Maybe. But only time will tell. You never know.
Yeah, we shall see.
I wouldn't be surprised if a week before his presidency ends, he just says, I don't want to run again. I'm done. And just walks away.
Interesting. I don't know. He's a pretty, I guess arrogant man is the correct way of putting it.
He definitely has some interesting mannerisms.
Oh, yeah.
Very much so.
That's another podcast, though.
That's another podcast. So the next big thing.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this, this marijuana thing, not President Trump. Back to the weed.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we haven't mentioned this, and I'm surprised.
Yeah.
This is called the MORE Act, the Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement Act. So, of course, reinvestments in the name. They're planning on making money. Just recently, the House passed a bill for banks that are with marijuana companies to not be legally responsible. I believe it was. So I can find that little spit again.
That little nugget of info.
That little nugget, I just read it too. It's at the bottom of this article. This article's on CNBC, by the way. This comes 2 months after the House passed legalization that would protect banks that serve marijuana businesses in states where the substance is legal, which I believe is 33 total. 11 states are recreational, 33 are medical.
Okay.
And that 11, of course, is part of that 33.
Got it.
So how do you think people that, are being released from the prison system, if the state chooses to do that, how do you think they're going to go about it? What about current people that deal in weed, illegal drug trafficking and marijuana?
Yeah.
What are they going to do once their main cash crop, once what they do is now legal and there's no point of them selling it anymore?
Honestly, it gives them more reason to sell more and make more.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. If assuming these states don't come out with distribution laws that prevent you from having, I guess, an up to standards facility to distribute this weed, these people are definitely gonna make way more money out of their basement and backyard, 100%.
It might happen. And the weirdest thing, though, is I'm sure they're going to have strict regulations on who is allowed to grow and who is allowed to, have a shop, produce, and sell.
Right. Dispensaries, yeah.
Dispensaries, exactly. Thank you.
Right.
And this is strictly called the MORE Act, emphasis on the reinvestment and opportunity.
Right.
I see only, how do I want to word this? I only see businesses and corporations being allowed to grow.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that, especially coming from a more safe standpoint for these, political decisions through states. Yeah, I definitely think there's going to be restrictions on, who's going to grow and stuff like that. And I do agree with you that it's probably just going to be established businesses or well-known brands, maybe some cigarette brands might take a hold of it. Maybe even
Definitely.
some vaping brands. So I can definitely see there being restrictions on who's going to distribute and grow at first. But it's really hard to say because I don't want to say it's a questionable market. There's just going to be a lot of nitty-gritty, very specific decisions and laws written about this, especially when we start talking about the people who are currently in jail for possession, distribution, etc., and who maybe is currently trying to get out, and who will get out, and there's a lot in play here if it does get passed.
There really is, and if you think about it, 65% of Americans support the idea of legalized marijuana use. And that was from recent studies, over the years of showing marijuana support. So let's just say these same 65% of Americans are against the fact that we're keeping people imprisoned for anything to do with marijuana.
Yeah.
Distribution, use, possession, whatever.
Right.
That's a lot of people in your country against the prison system to let these people out.
Right.
And like you were saying earlier with Trump not having a chance at the 2020 election, if he doesn't write this bill, 65% want this to pass. Potentially.
Right.
I'm sure it's maybe swayed down or swayed up since then. Because it doesn't give me a timestamp of when that study was done.
Right.
But 65 is a massive amount of people. You do not want to piss that kind of population off.
Right. And, I don't think you've caught this, but that's actually almost the exact same percentage of the amount of people in the House that passed it.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Just to throw that in there.
No.
Yes. Yeah, you said
No.
about 20 versus 10 for the House, right?
24 to 10.
Yeah, that's about 66% to 33% of the population.
That's just a mind. Yeah, I'm going to expunge myself from saying that word, but you guys get it. That's a mind destroyer right there.
So what I'm trying to say is we might see a common trend in numbers once this hits the Senate.
Yeah. I do think the Senate's going to pass it. There are articles saying that it's not going to get passed through Senate because of the Republican Party. And it's because of the Republican Party that I think it's going to pass.
Interesting.
It's like you're saying, if Trump's party gets to be is the one that takes the fall on this marijuana bill, he's not getting reelected. I really don't see it happening.
I don't think so. Because it's been so up and coming, and, I don't want to say there hasn't been restriction, but, year by year, there's been these little doors opening, little baby steps to get there, and now this is, the official, I guess, last step to really blow it out of the water, and, it's going to fall on somebody's shoulders, and it's going to be Trump's.
It is. And, I have to ask you, as a follow-up final question. And I just thought of this, unless you have more to say before it's considered the final question, because, of course, we wing all these.
I do not. Let's hear it.
What do you think the average state legal age is going to be to purchase marijuana if it's recreational?
Great question. It's obviously going to be one of two. It's going to be 18 or 21.
Yes.
I think if the mental state of changing is in play as much as you were talking about it, I can see it being 21. If that's not as in play as you think it might be, then I think it's going to be 18. It really comes down to how they're going to look at that mental changing state.
Absolutely. I see medical side being maybe as low as 16.
Oh yeah, medical is going to be lower, 100%.
I don't think it's going to go much lower than 16. But recreational, I'd have to agree. I think it's probably going to be, I want to say 18. But, you get that high school thing.
Right.
Like senior years of high school, and I think that's the only reason why our country hasn't made 21, or hasn't made 18 the legal drinking age.
Right. Okay.
Which is dumb as hell to think about. But
yeah.
Every other country in the world has it.
Right.
Except for maybe a couple.
My grandma always says, if you can go to war at 18, you should be able to come home and drink a beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, I agree with her when she says it that way.
I mean, I think it should be 18.
Interesting.
You're 18, you're considered a legal adult in this country.
It's fair.
You shouldn't have those restrictions.
It's a fair point.
As far as what you put in your body.
Another podcast topic.
Another podcast topic.
Man. Well, do you have anything else to add, Austin?
I don't think I do, Colton.
All right.
But I do have one thing to add.
Oh.
I lied to you.
Oh, you lied to me. Wow.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
You guys should like.
Ooh.
If you guys are on YouTube.
Ooh.
Give us some comments.
Ooh.
Join that Discord that we have that is still very empty, and it makes us very sad every day when I go onto this Discord and no one's here. It hurts my feelings, guys.
Get on the Discord so Austin doesn't, cry himself to sleep every night. And while you're at it, follow us on Twitter at Alton Podcast and subscribe on YouTube and stream us on your favorite streaming network. The Alton Podcast is on all major streaming platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Make sure you guys head over to altonpodcast.com. Oh, whoa. Whoa.
For example,
Google messing us up here.
Followed by the podcast's name.
Snape. They say Snape?
Something like that.
Like Harry Potter Snape?
So, as I was saying before, Google rudely interrupted me. You can head over to altonpodcast.com to check out all of those streaming platforms. And with that, we'll catch you guys in the next podcast.